The music was loud, the lights were warm, and the laughter around the room sounded normal. But something inside my chest felt strangely heavy that night. I didn't know it then, but that party would become the night that changed my marriage forever. The night my wife disappeared and came back with no memory of what happened. Before we begin, if you enjoy emotional stories that stay with you long after they end, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone who loves heartfelt stories, and subscribe to the channel Stories Beyond the Porch. Your support helps these stories reach more people who might need them. The party was held at a large house just outside the city. It belonged to one of my co-workers, a man who loved hosting gatherings that looked straight out of a movie. Soft yellow lights hung from the ceiling beams, candles flickered across long wooden tables, and the smell of grilled food floated through the warm night air. My wife had been excited about it all week. She had stood in front of the mirror earlier that evening, adjusting the simple navy dress she had chosen. It wasn't expensive, but she wore it with the kind of confidence that made it look elegant. Her hair was pinned up loosely, and she smiled at me through the reflection as if this night would be something special. And for the first hour it was. We laughed with friends, shared drinks, and talked about ordinary things. Work stories, travel dreams, memories from college. My wife had always been someone who could make a room feel brighter just by being in it. She wasn't the loudest person there, but she had a warmth that people naturally gravitated toward. I remember watching her across the room as she spoke with a group of people near the dining table. She was laughing, holding a glass of wine in one hand, gesturing animatedly with the other. She looked happy, and I felt lucky, but slowly, almost too quietly to notice at first, things began to change. My wife wasn't someone who drank much. A glass or two on special occasions was usually her limit. But that night, people kept refilling her glass. Friends encouraging another toast, someone handing her a new drink before the previous one was finished. At first she laughed it off, then her cheeks turned slightly pink. Then her laughter grew louder than usual. I noticed the change before anyone else did. The way she leaned slightly when she walked. The way her words started to blend together just a little too much. I walked over to her and gently suggested we slow down. She smiled and waved me off playfully, insisting she was fine. And because she looked so carefree in that moment, I let it go. It's strange how small decisions sometimes echo louder later. An hour passed, the music grew louder, the room filled with more voices. People moved between the patio and the dining area, dancing, laughing, telling stories that blurred into the night. Somewhere in that chaos, my wife disappeared. At first, I didn't worry. I assumed she had stepped outside for fresh air or gone to the bathroom. Maybe she had joined another group of friends in another room. I checked the kitchen, nothing. I checked the patio. Nothing, then the backyard, still nothing. A strange uneasiness crept into my chest. I walked through the house again, scanning every corner. People brushed past me carrying drinks and laughing, unaware that the world inside my head had begun to tilt. My wife was nowhere. 20 minutes passed, then 30. Her phone went straight to voicemail. That uneasy feeling turned into something heavier. Fear. I stepped outside the house and walked down the driveway, scanning the dark street beyond the glowing lights of the party. The night air suddenly felt colder than before. 1,000 thoughts raced through my mind. Had she gotten sick somewhere? Had someone taken her home? Had something happened? The longer she was gone, the louder the silence inside me became. Then, nearly an hour after she had vanished, I saw her walking slowly up the street. At first, relief rushed through me so strongly that my knees almost weakened. She was safe. But as she stepped closer under the soft streetlight, that relief quickly turned into confusion. Her expression looked distant, not scared, not upset, just empty. She walked toward me slowly, as if moving through fog. Her hair was slightly messy, and the smile she wore earlier that night was completely gone. I rushed toward her, asking if she was okay. She looked at me, and then something happened that made my heart drop into my stomach. She frowned slightly, as if trying to recognize me. For a moment, she looked like someone trying to remember a dream that was slipping away. Then she said she felt strange, like she had woken up somewhere unfamiliar. When I asked where she had been, she simply shook her head. She didn't know. She couldn't remember leaving the party. She couldn't remember where she had gone. She couldn't remember anything that had happened for nearly an hour. At first, I thought she was joking. But the confusion in her eyes was real. And suddenly, the night didn't feel like a celebration anymore. It felt like the beginning of something much darker. We left the party early. The music and laughter faded behind us as we drove home in near silence. My wife leaned her head against the window, looking exhausted and disoriented. Every few minutes, she tried to piece together the missing hour. But nothing came. It was as if someone had erased that part of the night completely. Over the next few days, the mystery only deepened. She remembered everything before the party. She remembered the first drinks, the laughter, the conversations. And then nothing. The last thing she recalled was standing near the dining table, holding a glass of wine. After that moment, her memory simply stopped. Doctors suggested alcohol might have caused temporary memory loss. But something about that explanation didn't sit right with me. My wife had been drunk before in her life. Never like this. Never with a missing hour she couldn't explain. Days turned into weeks. The memory never returned. At first, we tried to laugh about it. Friends joked about that crazy night, and how my wife must have simply wandered off. But every time someone mentioned it, I saw the quiet worry in her eyes, because deep down, she felt it too. Something about that night wasn't normal. Months later, something unexpected happened. While cleaning out an old purse she had taken to the party, my wife found a small folded receipt tucked inside a hidden pocket. It was from a small cafe across town. The time on the receipt was exactly during the hour she couldn't remember. We drove there the next day. The cafe owner looked at us carefully when we showed him the receipt. He said he remembered her. She had come in alone that night. She looked shaken, almost like someone who had just run from something. She ordered water and sat quietly for nearly 20 minutes before leaving again. But the strange part was what she had asked him before she left. She had asked if he had a phone charger. When he gave her one, she didn't charge her phone. Instead, she opened her camera and took a picture of something on the wall. When the cafe owner told us that, my wife's hands started shaking. Because when she opened her phone gallery later that evening, there was a photo she had never seen before. A photo taken that night. A photo of a small handwritten note pinned to the cafe wall. The note read, "If you feel lost tonight, remember this. You are stronger than whatever you're running from." Neither of us knew why she had taken it. Neither of us knew what had happened during that missing hour. But something about that message changed the way she looked at the entire night. Instead of fear, she began to see it differently. Sometimes the mind protects us from moments we aren't ready to face. Sometimes the pieces of our lives don't make sense until much later. What mattered most wasn't the hour she lost. It was the life we continued building afterward. A life where we learned to talk more openly, care more deeply, and never take ordinary moments for granted. That strange night reminded us how fragile and mysterious life can be. And sometimes the answers we search for don't come from remembering the past. They come from choosing how we move forward. If this story touched your heart even a little, please take a moment to like the video, share it with someone who loves emotional stories, and subscribe to Stories Beyond the Porch. Your support helps these stories reach people who may need them. And before this story ends, I have a small request. In the comments, write the word